Our faith was left out in the open. As we move under darkened skies, we await, bound to each other. But our spirits never die. Whoa, faded as we push through the darkest times. I'll be there by your side. We arise when everything's breaking. Our souls will awaken. Our spirits never die. At the end of the line, the trust in our hearts beating louder. Under darkened skies, we await, bound to each other. But our spirits never die. Whoa, faded as we push through the darkest times. I'll be there by your side. We arise when everything's breaking. Our souls will awaken. Our spirits never die.
It's the Intel Extreme Masters Winter 2021, and we're ready to jump into the semifinals. Today being December 11th, 2021, exactly. That means that we are ready to send two teams into the grand finals, while Jason and Moses here, who are the same person, stand next to Yanko.
Hello, are we live?
Yeah, I think so. I thought it was a rehearsal. Nonetheless, we got there at the end of the day. Isn't that right, gentlemen? I've got Wags on one side and the resident Axelrod out of Serbia on the other. What's up?
Nothing, man. It's great. We had like 5 off days here in Katowice, Poland. Didn't leave the hotel.
Trace got to watch Billions.
How could you tell?
We were just binging TV shows for most of the time.
Yeah, and today is a really sweet and sour sort of occasion. Obviously, we need to eliminate some teams throughout the bracket that we have left.
Yeah, I'm hungry now.
Oh, right? Well,
actually, I've been hungry for a while.
Yeah.
Hunger
does carry on for us. It does carry on back into the server. 2 best-of-3s, both semifinals, situating one team into those finals tomorrow, a best-of-5. So a little bit of an uphill battle, but it all kind of comes down to something as simple as this. If NIP loses against G2, Virtus.pro and Vitality will both qualify for the Katowice group stage. And that, my friends, that is the selling point right there. Jason?
Yeah, it's the difference NIP winning is them going to the group stage or just being in the play-ins and having to battle from that point. So yeah, it's a little bit of like an extra seeding bump for NIP to be able to just skip one, although admittedly a pretty important part of the tournament. Like nobody wants to play in those play-ins. Like that's a dangerous territory.
Oh yeah, it's cutthroat in the play-ins. A lot of good teams, right? Underdog teams who is for them maybe the first opportunity to play on such a big stage. You know they're going to be putting in the work. Katowice is going to be the first big tournament most likely next season, right? So a little bit of rust and whatnot, and we've seen good teams. You know, in the Cologne play-in, OG didn't make it out of that. So.
Wildly enough, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and speaking of which, those Pro Tour points start to shape up like this. Lil Momo, read out them numbers.
Yeah, looking good over on the side of Europe, as we kind of mentioned. NIP in that weird spot where they're going to try and kind of jump up to the next place. Over in North America, obviously, a couple teams still really benefiting from an extremely weak region. Furia and Team Liquid far and above the rest over in North America. South America as a MIBR leading the way, and obviously Asia and Oceania, Renegades and Tyloo are the resident names that we've been used to seeing there for going on almost a decade.
So, Jason, what you're saying is that the Ninjas and Pajamas must win IEM winner to qualify for the group stage at Katowice of 2022.
Yeah.
Crazy, right?
Yeah.
I happen to read that. So I'm not going to pretend.
I was so confused. I'm like, is he trapping me? Is this a trick?
What's happening?
Not exactly a trick, but NIP are going to be in some dire straits today. Of course, that means with the news of Device not playing, things do get a little bit weirder when Fuzi comes in.
Yeah, Fuzi, man. Like, I don't know. It's just I saw a couple people raise this question, and why aren't you getting Nock to play? If your goal is like to try to win, surely he's your best option in that situation. I mean, he's already played with most of the players. He's played under that system Hampus, the in-game leader, same role, right? The other flip side is like, oh, maybe you want to give the academy players some more experience and like play with the tier 1 team. Yeah, man, just drop him in the semifinal of a tournament.
Surprise!
First time, right? And like, yeah, just try to find your feet like in that sense.
It kind of tells you everything you need to know. And I mean, I don't know. I'd be pretty pissed if I was Nock. I'd be like, what the hell? I'm right here. Like, what are you guys doing? So,
I've been here.
It's going to be interesting. Now, I will say it's obviously a huge loss not having Device for that team because he's been such an important piece of NIP. But on the other side of the table, you do have a Kenny S that we're going to see what level he comes in today. And he's had a decent level throughout the event. It's been nothing shockingly great, nothing shockingly bad. So it's not like necessarily the worst, matchup in the world.
Yeah, it could be a lot worse, I think. It
could always be worse.
It could always be worse.
Yeah, we found that out a number of times.
For some of these teams within the bracket, it was worse. This is how it shaped up in the playoffs, Cinco.
Yeah, in the quarterfinals, we had NIP go up against Godsent, managed to take them down 2-1, and Vitality taking down Gambit. That was a big one. Vitality just seems super comfortable against Gambit, yet to drop a match against that team, and Zaiwu was lights out in that series. That was probably the biggest difference maker, so to speak. And yeah, that sets us up for VP versus Vitality and G2 versus NIP.
But what is it about the VP style of play, right? Does it seem like they've gotten a little bit of a momentum change, a shift of tone almost? Is there aggressiveness finally coming out of this camp, Jason?
It seems like they've adjusted some things and made some switches, and they certainly have some more fast-paced and more aggressive kind of playstyles in their playbook now, which, by the way, it's been something Yekendar's kind of been harping on. Well, a lot of players obviously have harped on it over the years, but certainly Yekendar's been vocal about, they've been struggling at times throughout this year to find enough time to practice and improve and change things around to feel a bit more comfortable. I think more than anything, though, the addition of Flit, like I think he's in like the top 5. He's certainly in the top 8 in terms of players at this event so far. So that addition of Flit over Sanji that happened right before the major is really paying dividends, I think, with VP's performance here at Winter.
Sometimes it just feels like we're not watching the same games like as these players are playing, because I saw that interview or the press conference from Yekindar, and he's saying, well, I don't think we really changed our play style. We're just like finding more entries, which is like true in some rounds. Yes, like of course you find a kill, we're gonna open up the map more. That's the whole point of it. But I think it was super clear and obvious on Dust 2, for example. The calls were like more aggressive. Like you're taking a little bit of a risk to aggressively like try to take map control, and you're committed to it. Like from freeze time, you're committed to this call. So that has nothing to if you get the entries, you're gonna win the round easier. But if you lose them, you're still like that's still the call you're going for. So I think there's a little bit of mix in there, and obviously the firepower upgrade helps, but I think there's a little bit more to it than that.
I think the player it affects, like it's helped out the most at this event so far has been James, who's at the top, statistically the #1 player at the event at the moment, which in my mind is kind of crazy, especially for an opper that we kind of look at as a more passive opper, someone who stays further back. We all know the memes, obviously. But the fact that you are being aggressive and you are getting some of these entries and you are being a little bit faster paced means when James sitting back, he can pick off some rotations. If everyone's being passive across the map, nothing is being created for James to take advantage of, and now you're starting to see them create some movement on the defenses on the map and James being effective.
And I mean, their logic is sound. Another thing Kinder said, well, the reason why we have such close games is because, and he took a deep breath, we save. And, you know, like, why would you go for rounds that there's no, you know, they're low percentage rounds to win, you know, live to fight another day. And for that, you have to be confident in your team and in your teammates, right? You have to believe that even 14-8, down, you know, it's a tough situation, but that you will be able to outplay the other team. You'll make less mistakes. And we've seen VP by far is now the most difficult
team to put away.
Right? Like all the games are really close, and that's the main reason.
It's got to be one of their better qualities as a team overall, and that's got to be so frustrating to play against as well. When you just like know, like you know, you feel you have such a huge advantage and you just can't close out the map.
If I was VP, what I would do though is like what you need to add in a little bit of spice. Sometimes you just go for a super late retake. Like you just try to like surprise them. Because people are so relaxed, like sitting down. Okay, they're just saying.
Yeah, it's been 20 seconds, no noise.
People are just they're gonna get complacent about it. So you could maybe catch a couple people, steal away a couple of rounds, like by going for an ultra late retake.
It's almost like a game of 40 chess there at the very late part of the round. And one day, perhaps, maybe we'll see that. For time being, it needs to be a recap of what we've gotten up to this point to include the groups and then the playoff brackets as well. So let's check it out.
What if the last Masters tournament of the year looked more like a superhero movie? Sound tempting? Good, because IEM Winter's first stage delivered everything such a movie could have. Chapter 1, the state of Denmark.
I think Astralis had a really good time. They played with a lot of different players, stand-ins and stuff, where they had a down period, but now me and Blame F is here and Ave, and I think that we can do great things together with the Astralis jersey on.
No king rules forever, and sometimes changes have to be made. In Astralis' case, however, changes meant that once again, former teammates had to stand on the opposite sides of each other, where mercy is a forbidden word.
Device the clutch, it surely favors him with this bomb. They have to close and hunt the gap. He is going to relocate.
He might have done it. He might have already done it.
That's time.
Oh,
the
just.
moonwalk config with half a second to spare, says play on. Okay.
This gets hard now for Device.
Shot. Glaive core. Another config trying to take a chance.
Bruised, Astralis then won over Mouse, only to later take on none other than their old foes from Team Liquid, which quickly snuffed out the Danish Flame and had them packing after just 3 games.
This is all but a formality, as Glaive, as good as he is, not being able to clutch in this position. He will go down. That is 16-1 the score.
But the state of Denmark would soon suffer yet another painful punch. Defeated by Big in their opening match, FaZe Clan landed in the lower bracket of Group B to find themselves fighting for survival against Heroic. Not many people wanted to see such a duel, but alas, fate sometimes is a cruel mistress.
Here come Heroic. Oh, he's just seen them. He's just seen them. Brokey smites Katie, and now they start to make their way in. Olafmeister up on the balcony, and Twist's helping out. That's FaZe locking it in. No overtime today.
So when push came to shove, the Batman of CS unleashed his secret weapon in the form of Twists.
Oh, but Heroic is so aware, man. Like, as they're going back to hell, they know they haven't had outside control. They know this is a possibility. Twists. Oh, that's a double opener. His bomb's going down. Twist takes off another head. Oh, it's another. He might be on for the ace. Only Tessez left. Brokey's going to make first contact. Twist's here as well to help him. Is it the ace? No. Brokey steals it away. Regardless, it is a hell of a round. All headshots for Twists.
However, on the next day, Gambit cut their hopes short and left Kerrigan alone with his thoughts. Chapter 2, Vive la France. Balance is something nature always seeks, and Counter-Strike is no different. When Denmark struggled, France plowed on, with G2 once again embracing the man, the myth, the legend, Kenny S. And with a little bit of help coming from the Kovac cousins, they soon found themselves in Group A's upper bracket final.
Stewie here.
Oh my god, Nico! That's not how the Deagle's meant to work!
Playing a derby against Team Vitality. Outside of the game, the bonds of friendship are strong, but on the server, it had to be put aside. And thanks to the sniper himself delivering swift justice, G2 was now one game away from the grand final. Chapter 3, not done yet. So after Group A concluded its matches and then Group B also marked the end of its journey, it was time for the first playoff matches. First, we saw a display of skill from someone who in the past has won both the hearts and minds of CS fans. Taco and his friends fought valiantly.
Now Taco's posted at ramp. This is a lovely read out of Godset. They know what NIP are trying to do, and they are poised to shut it down.
Oh, the bait piece. Taco's just wiggling, jiggling, forcing shots and hitting every single one.
However, not many could withstand an opposition like Ninjas and Pajamas. Thus, after 3 maps, Godsent had to say goodbye. And what about the second matchup? Honestly, it looked like we were in for a very refined form of rivalry.
Хорош. That's it.
But as time went on, Gambit simply showed us what they're made of.
Great shots out of Shoxy, and third for good measure, and oh my god, Inters has just denied the round.
He's looking the wrong way.
He's not ready for it, and no,
he's dropped his lines.
He's whiffed it, and Inters, that is miraculous.
Later, Shiro also chipped in.
Zywo closing the gap. Shiro backs his head. That is magnificent.
But in the end, it all paled in comparison to Zywoo's 73-52 score, which ultimately helped him and Team Vitality secure a spot in the semifinals. See you there.
When the water rises, when the world burns down, we will stand together. We fight forever. We fight forever. We fight forever. Standing together. We fight forever.
Masuta with a dismount and a frag. Oh, Masuta, no need for assistance. 30 seconds, Shiro loves a clutch, but he's gone. 19-17, the French weather the storm.
Yeah, thank you very much. We're also working on our words over here as well. That was Chad and Alex going to be your commentators
Thanks,
for this
Machine.
first semi. And yes, thank you, Machine, very much so. Vitality versus Virtus.pro even. Guys, we look at a best of three, a semifinal, playoffs, all that happy stuff. Jason, what's got you into a Googlebot?
What's that? I'm sorry.
Why are you so
Just not even like paying attention.
I'm paying attention, but man, just the wordplay today has been phenomenal. Yeah, I think it's fair. I think it's fair to say Virtus.pro are favorites. Jame is the #1 player. Flit is #4. Yekendar's down at like #7. They got 3 players in the top 8 of this whole tournament playing very, very well at the moment. And Vitality, obviously, in a weird scenario, a little bit of a dead team, but yeah, I think you have to look at Virtus.pro and say with the rest of the rosters of the other 3 teams that are still in this event, all not being like either going to change or having a stand-in for this event, VP's got like the most reliable and most solid roster out there in the semifinals.
Yeah, absolutely, and you could tell they're playing with confidence as well. They're feeling it. Like they only had a good run, a really good run at the major, considering they only had like a week with Flit to play.
Yep.
So I think they have all the rights to be confident, although I think also Vitality will have something to say about that.
Yeah, I had it in the group stage. My plan was just to go with all the dead teams for the rest of the event, and I'm not going to go. I'm not going to go away from it. Look, this Vitality team obviously is IWU playing very, very well. He's I believe #2 so far statistically in terms of player ratings. But the other guy that you have to talk about, Apex, as like I actually looked into it because I thought like eye test wise during the whole group stage, I thought Apex was playing excellent. He had a banger of a first day. The best of 1 they played and the best of 3. He was absolutely phenomenal. The rest of the event, like numbers-wise, hasn't been anything crazy for him. Certainly not matching that day 1. But in terms of eye test, the impact he's having for this team is phenomenal, and he's leading it very well. And despite all the struggles and the situation going on within the team, everyone seems in good spirits.
Yeah, it's crazy how he found great form again while taking on more responsibility, like taking some of the not star roles, but just roles with more responsibility on the map where more action happens. Really, and he's been doing a great job. But yeah, Jame, the big talking point, man, the #1 rated player of the tournament, leading in like opening dual success, but also least deaths per round. Like a bit of a
shocker.
Yeah, a bit of a situation where, you know, he's doing it all.
Yeah.
Which is pretty much all that you can possibly ask for from his
While
side.
in-game leading.
Yeah, while in-game
leading.
Because in-game leading, that's not for everyone. It's not for the faint of heart, is it? Yeah.
Absolutely not true.
Absolutely not. But of course, Apex, having many words, some of them he's willing to share with us before we got this match started.
What is going on, everybody? I'm here with Apex before Vitality's match in the semi-finals here at IEM Winter versus VP. Apex, what have you been up to over the last 5 days in the break?
Well, I guess I tested some tables. Now, we've been practicing a little bit. We have some time off as well. We just went to Stockholm a little bit, just had some fun together. So nothing crazy, just try to prepare for the game as well.
And how has that preparation for VP been, Apex?
Well, it's been pretty simple, nothing crazy. They're a team that we know really well. They don't change too much, so we're just gonna try to adapt during the game and nothing much.
Apex, from an audience perspective, we've seen you grow so much as an IGL. Are you, as Apex, aware of just how much better at that role you've gotten over time?
Well, I guess I see that I'm doing some improvements and I'm getting better and better, obviously. But I don't think about that too much. I'm done thinking about the present and what we have to do. That's all I do.
Awesome. And how confident are you that you can lead your team into the grand finals here at IEM Winter?
Well, it's always been a tough game against VP, so it's never easy for any of the teams. So I just want a great game and just have fun to play against them once again, and hopefully going to the final again this year.
Apex, thank you so much and best of luck.
Thank you, bro.
So these two teams did meet in that first round of the Swiss system over at the PGL Major, and it did go 16-14. So we had a close game, all things considered. Yanko, are we going to get the same result today?
I don't know. I mean, if VP is going to win, I think I just have a lot of praise for Vitality, the way they prepare for games, the coaching staff alongside, I mean, the whole in-game leader coach duo. I think they're doing a great job at Vitality, and I think that's going to make life difficult for VP. And of course, the Zaibu factor. Despite James being the highest rated player of the tournament, 3 players in the top 10, Zaibu is still the best player on the server. And we saw in the Gambit series how he can take over. If that happens, it's going to be a close game.
So, Jason, I'm looking at this. I'm not seeing an Ancient for Vitality. We're not seeing a Nuke for VP. Where does that leave us?
You know, I'm assuming you'd have to imagine that a close game on Inferno, that's going to be back into the rotation. Vitality also could take it over to Mirage if they wanted to, which they've enjoyed in the past. And yeah, there we go, Mirage.
Yeah, Vitality usually picks towards their opponent's weaknesses, and especially now with 5 days to prepare, you know, you can switch things up, you can add new things just for this game, right, and run them a few times, so it's not completely out of the blue. We see VP going for that Vertigo pick. They did also find success on it lately. Another map where Yakindar is the focal point on A ramp on both sides, really taking those fights, and Vitality actually, they remove Inferno themselves.
Yeah, I guess just not wanting to mess with it. That'll let us on Dust 2, which is, I mean, as you mentioned kind of earlier, that's where we saw the most adaptation in terms of VP's style on that Dust 2 and their increased kind of aggression and pacing. But Mirage Vertigo Dust 2, that's a great series.
Yeah, that's a great series and everything that we could have asked for a semifinal. The Intel Extreme Masters Winter 2021 semifinals are going to start now.
I think Vitality's biggest strength is even if they're losing rounds, they're still playing their playstyle. They're not changing their game up if something doesn't work. And obviously, they have really skilled players. Zaibu, obviously, how could you not mention him?
There's still a man down. And Zaibu is looking to change that. Finds one on the Hunter. The line, Zaibu can't see a damn thing. Tries to flick around.
But the weakness, I would say that if the rumors are correct, that they're going to
strength is the individual, and all of them can pop up at any time. Yeah. So, and their weakness is their team play.
With the tons and continue to push the information for James is coming his way. And
I don't think tactically they are as good as the other teams, even though, and I felt like all the games they won is because they play really good individually and they have their own style, you know. It's sometimes really hard to play against.
a little bit pushy.
Yeah, I think it was Yanko there. And it's similar to, remember Happy back in the day, who was a very hard lurk on the T side? It was one of these things where, hey, Happy, maybe if you go in first and die and then your teammates come in behind you, they won't expect it. Yeah. You know, it's just the tendencies that you have as a team and then flipping the script. And in a situation like this would be great to do something like that.
Wouldn't you argue that VP have been flipping the script since Flit's integration?
Yeah, look, there was another point that Yanko made up here. Apex is getting a little bit horny for this one here. Wants to take something else away. Spots one out. Kick it goes down. So that's a bit more of the investment gone here in Apex. Thirsty.
He'd have loved that. And it's only a Mac 10, so no real wound.
Not the end of the world. One of the positives here is Flit can drop the CZ across all the Mac 10, so they can have 4 out of the 5 members right now with something upgraded. So that's a little bit better there for VP going into round number 3. But yeah, I think from the team that we've been watching, they've looked much more aggressive. The way Yakinda puts it is, well, with the pieces we have now, we just have more firepower, so it seems like it works a bit more now. Look, I can see it from both angles here, but I am of the elk that I think that they are looking a bit more aggressive, a bit more pep in their step. But one of the things is, it's hard to put VP away.
Yeah, and it's hard to shut Shoxy down. Yet to put a frag in the board, but crosshair placed.
Beautiful.
And haircut handed out against the Trimmers to Yakinda's mop.
But look at this, Shox and Apex, the 2 point men, they were in mid last round. Now they're over towards A. They've drawn more attention. They know where Jame is. Masuda, Kyojin, and Zywoo over towards B. They have to deal with
respect
Kick
this palace smoke as well, or not.
James rotated.
Jame. Yeah, he's been given the call, and now he's handing out some chunks. 2 to be specific. They're all so low. It's perfect for the P250. Kickert set for success, and AK in his grasp, and the rest could fall into place. They have to evacuate, but they've lost Shox on A. And this one starts to peter into nothing. Vitality have been wounded heavily, and Apex is next. Lovely, clean click. Buster collects, and now the last 2 victims charge into his crosshair. He will go down, but with this low HP, don't forget, James had his way with Kyojin. Zywoo, fortunately, a little healthier.
Yeah, that's a key right here. Zywoo is still having a lot of health. We know what this man can do, and a lot of time left on the clock to operate. Waiting for more of this CT aggression. They park the bus top mid. If they do want to continue through mid, James is the next player they're going to have to deal with here. You can see him over towards short with the scout in his hands. They can slip in through connector. That's Kickett's job right now, who is jiggling from over towards Ticket.
That is the blind spot, as it were, and it's enhanced now with James concerned about the apartments, the power
of A now.
Noise. Yeah, Kickett's
and look at Flit. He's up in Palace. Flit's going to ruin this party.
Oh, that's lovely out of Kyojin, but will they possibly expect it? There goes Kyojin. Bomb scooped up, a hard one. Zywoo's found it, but there's the Flit find. Just in the nick of time. It could have got out of control had Flit not committed to that. And VP with a lovely second bite of that force by Cherry.
You're going to love that. And on this map here, it's not their map choice. They're on the CT side. This is a map that they tend to have some struggles on, so winning one of these early is fantastic. And it was actually James' scout, because remember how that round kicked off? It looked great. Shox pushes out Tetris, gets the opening kill, and then James, when he's made his scout known over towards A, that's actually pushed the rest of the attack in B. So James just floating around, having his impact felt early. Now we get the guns out for both teams. However, no AWP in the hands of Zywoo for this one just yet. It's going to be 3 AKs, 2 Galils, util to boot. And
conversations happening here.
Just deciding who needs what util for the call of the in-game leader. Shox with space one more time.
Bit of a redundant incendiary as well. Doesn't necessarily confirm boxes clear. So we know Vitality's game plan, and we'll cover it in
Noisy.
a second, because Buster's lucky to have gotten away with that. Shox ready for the trade. Nade, and Flit swings into the AK. Counterplay. Buster a bit too loose on the spray. He's left Masuta alive. Jame, however, tucks in Kyojin. 3 on 3, heavily wounded. Vitality are limping around spawn with that bomb on Zywoo's back, the healthiest of the bunch. What do you do with Masuta? Like, you know you're not going to be a primary contributor anymore. You've got flashes. Are you selling something? Are you just scouting in?
If you send him in first and you can get good information now for Zywoo to trade, that could be the opening as they turn their attention towards B. Kickett looking to tuck himself in towards the back of the site. Yakinda with information in mid, but if he makes noise, Shox will hear this. That step noted now on high alert.
Promise? You promise he heard that?
Should have.
I'm not so sure.
Rotating back, Kickett with a bit of a misread here.
Oh, they're dead. They're dead. If Zywoo goes down this round, will 2. A great find, a triple in total. Yakinda has taken the round by the horns. And now Shox just has to talk about his gloves and his matching green attire.
Yeah, it should be definitely the savior. And it is very green. Look at that. The knife,
you see what he's done there?
That's beautiful, Shox. Matching.
Me, I don't have a favorite color, but I like the green.
He likes the green. He likes the green. I've gone for a bit of a yellow theme.
You have. I'm still yet to join the theme crew. Henry went full purple.
Yeah, everybody at home loves a theme. You know, red's always a good one. Red's pretty standard.
I think I need to find a sticker that like I identify with.
Okay.
So that it can become part of my identity.
You should have a look at the sprays as well. There's so many sprays in the game that you don't know even exist.
It's true.
Have a little bit of a look. I found some nice red lips that I go with these days. So after I win a clutch, the lips land.
Listen, all I'm saying is that even the professionals acknowledge CS is over 50% mental. And I know my mental gets shaken by a naughty spray and
a bit of
an
a
annoying outfit.
Oh, the annoying outfit. All right. Yeah, there's a couple of those. The wetsuit in play.
Oh, don't get me started about the Scuba Steve.
We got a phantom kit right there, guys. Don't worry. It hasn't dropped. It's just a bit of a GoTV bug in this one. But having a look right now, it is this saved AK Shox as the point man. Just two P250s alongside of that here. So they want to allow Shox to look for an opening. Oh, well, there's the opening. Flip with the trade.
I mean, I suppose it's information. I don't think Flip's going to be too dismayed. He's got his team to rely upon. Everyone's armored, everyone's equipped, and ready to rock and roll. Now, Buster, he can do a lot with that smoke. It's good to buy time because he can either be peeking over it, boosted over it, peeking the sides of it, but it will just repel the invaders of mid.
Back towards A, they're going to try it now, leaving Kyojin top mid here for a little bit of a late playthrough connector. See if he can sweep on through and find anybody slouching, but 3 up through Palace. Greeting now with Apex, who's been waiting idly by with the bomb in his hand. Yakinda getting the information towards ramp. So currently a gap, but this is the thing. You're accounting for this, and Kickit is even floating over towards CT spawn. So unless James gets caught completely off guard here,
I don't think that's really in his wheelhouse.
The fact
he's missed that.
He's not looking.
Yeah, draw attention. They do manage to slip out the Palace, but Masuta not ready for Yakinda, and they will lock it down. I say they. It's all one man. Yakinda again puts his name in the feed thrice.
Oof. Drama's now for Shox here because he saved that AK. His spy is not going to be as great as the rest of his team. Only 3,100 to his name, so a Galil potentially or a pistol with a bit more util around it. But the AKs are coming out for everybody else. And again, still no AWP just yet for ZywOo. Now, it was the CT side that we saw the AWP really do a lot of work against Gambit. Likely to see it come out again when they do get over towards that CT side.
We also saw him walk out ramp and be apps with an opener.
True.
See if he can find one when he gets it in his hands. And for now, just the Kalashnikov. And you can see the gap in that window smoke. Something we'll have to get that camera set up on. Apex, the Predator, has found another mark. This time catching the timing on Yakinda, but he's just going to posture. Would rather have the presence and the life. A resmoke this time on connector and window simultaneously.
Denied
so does
now.
this surely just buy time, right? We can just wait 15 seconds before we play on.
Oh, Flit's actually pushing forward here. Playing around the gap in the smoke, potentially.
He might get flashed in. Yeah, he is, and dead. ZywOo, lovely team play and escaped successfully. It's gonna be a bit of a brawl. 2 backs turned, an easy double for Buster. And VP send Vitality back to their spawn with a new plan.
Again, now James just playing from jungle, overwatching this A site. Nobody can drop on out of Palace. Nobody can get into the site just yet, but that is where they turn their attention. Smoke on Apex. That could be the key to this one right now.
Had that been an Apex frag, it could have been a very different round. Don't forget this started with him chunking down Yakinda. There's James. Oh, and one to the elbow. He knows he's a dead man walking. Teammate gone. Apex remains. He'd love a plant. The in-game leader gives it a go.
I get it even.
He's not got it. Close. Close to injecting a whole lot of extra cash. 5 times 8. I'll let you do the math, but 4-2 the score.
That would have been the difference between a gun round or not. So that plant is a big difference right there. Great denial from Kickit. And again, just being jarring in middle. This is also an info play in a big way because if he went through and he found nobody on the other side, they could turn their attention back towards either side. So nice little play right there. Heads up Counter-Strike from VP being quite assertive across the map during all of this. Same with Buster, smoking forward, playing forward.
Yeah, well, we're seeing evidence from Flit, right? The mid jump in the window from that previous anti-eco, and then you've just seen him again be willing to take that dual flash through that mid smoke. And here's James pinning one to the wall at the top of mid. And here's Flit again. We are seeing a clear, his game plan has got aggression in that conversation.
It was hilarious. I was doing some interviews with Yakinda and Flit the other day, and Yakinda referred to Flit as a youngster. I think there's like 2 ages, 2 years the difference between their age.
In CS, that is a lifetime.
Apparently so. So what does that make you and I? We must be ancient.
No. I still feel like the little boy who didn't know what he was doing. Katowice 2015. And that was a while ago now.
Yeah, just a short while. How many more are you going to get here, James? Currently the highest rated player in the tournament. See how much more he can farm on up. Nico on the other side of things we have later today. Yakinda with another. A headshot, of course, and Buster perched high.
There is merit, isn't there, to the conversation about extra bonus points for Nico doing and being as high rated as he is without AWPing? Do you think that gets it? That's a valid conversation?
Yeah, well, we know that the AWPers tend to be some of the highest rated players, or are the highest rated players in the whole scene, right? You look at Simple, you look at ZywOo, Device, obviously those names really start to add on up. The Riflers, unfortunately, it's not as easy for them to find the same level of impact, but the fact that Nico is doing it, as you mentioned, it is a big talking point, and he's put himself back in the conversation of the elite this year, I think, especially after the player break.
You get to see him in form. He's been hot out of the player break, as Chad has just alluded to, and that is our second semi-final. You get to see more from G2 and Nico. Wonder if he's had a haircut like ZywOo. Watch out. The AWP might come out any second now.
Damn. All right, well, have taken a bit of a time out here to discuss their options, Vitality. This is going great for VP here, 5-2. Now, one of the keys with VP is they're hard to put away. They're great when they're down, but we never really see them close out a match. Their last game they played against Godson, I believe it was a 16-7.
Oh, yeah.
That was the only game so far in the tournament that didn't go all 30 or more. So
lovely lineup for you if you're wondering about how to molly when it's smoked. Oh, lovely jubbly. Light on util for some of them, but Kyojin starting his projects now.
Gambling towards B right now. Jamie is in kitchen, right? Backing up Buster and Kick It. So a bit of extra room right now for the French to work with. Molly back off. Flit has to drop on out. Now window boost becomes a conversation.
Weird
That's
smoke.
a whiffed smoke right there. Not where you want it to land.
Of course, Apex magnetizes to it immediately and picks up where Kyojin left off, looking for that connect across. It's Buster and him. There is a hard duel. Apex again has been wounded heavily.
Lucky to get away here, really.
Yeah.
7 HP all the way back. Going to pick up the bomb, but time now. We are sub 1 minute and no real territory to work with. Kyojin floating around towards connector, but this isn't a place of committal.
I like it, Yukinda. I like it a lot. Now, this is driven by information and bloodshed as Apex, with his knife out and his pants around his ankles, looks a bit of a tit. More to come. 40-second mark, and Yukinda's going for the round.
They won't expect this, even though they know he's here.
It's
you wouldn't
VP.
Especially with a number advantage.
It makes
this
no
just
sense.
seems odd that he's continuing to push.
Oh, and those flashes, he knows he's caught a time. He's gonna be so quick behind him. Flit, just survive, bro. Oh, they've got not mollied him on default. He does go down, but this flank, right? ZywOo's not got that spidey sense tingling at all.
They're calling a save?
Not anymore. Here comes the commit. Yukinda's time this so well. You might even just deny it. Kick it might hit all the shots there. They're doing so well, but they don't know. They don't know. Yukinda to strike. Bomb down. Spray connect is up to Kyojin and Shox to claw this one into a third. They've hit some great bangers here to even make this a competitive round. You thought the flank would seal the deal. Shox still was connector, and you can see that James Hunt has pulled his util out. Now, there is a Molotov. That's not going to get him far. Kyojin safe. Bomb. Light on time. Jamie wants to go in, but he wants his teammate to make the first move. It's getting so light on time. Yukinda has to YOLO it towards the bomb, and that is the end of that. James to save. And he won't even do that. What a recovery out of the French there. That looked like VP's round up until it didn't.
Yeah, should have been their round every day of the week right there. You consider Yukinda's position. They knew that attack was coming. He was there for the flank, just couldn't deny the plant. If he got there before the bomb went down, that's the round one. That's it over and done with completely.
We were praising his, proactivity and his aggression, but then that little extra hesitation just on that last swing cost him the round potentially.
Yeah, well, that right there is the third now for Vitality. Both teams can get the big greens out. And full buys across the board as back towards mid as plenty of util reigns on out. Apex quick through this, jumping on down fast towards connector. Flit to receive yet again. And the smoke perfectly timed here. But Buster, no man's land. He's taking a fight. He's got two. Oof.
Oh, the aggression's been countered in a very big way. They throw themselves into Vitality, but are met with bullets.
Body after
Masuta,
body.
yeah, he handled business. Could still go wrong.
Shox is probing towards B here. Kick it. So you can see how passive he is. There's so much territory lost, but...
It's such a high clear. Oh, and he does go down. A nice find from Kick-It. Pulls us straight back into competitive territories, and he...
Good reposition
has
here.
Completely evaporated now. Yeah, if you're concerned about bench, you're concerned about Van, you're not going to be thinking about deep apps.
This is a great decision from Kick-It. The fact that he's understood he has this much room right now, this could be round winning.
Right, put yourself in Masuta's shoes.
You're worried about Van, bench, back a site, maybe even towards market, but not up towards the B apartments. The problem is Kick-It's gone way too far. He's gone walkabout, down through the underpass.
Yeah, he's not in a position to contest that plant anymore.
And he's questioning where they've gone.
So are they. Kick-It, he was here. I swear he was here. I promise he was on B. They can't work it out. The mystery, the plot thickens. Ah, I saw a cursory glance. Maybe ZywOo might consider it. No.
Saw a head. He saw the head.
He knows, and so does James. This 2v2 has got to be Kickers. Books he's missed it. The M4 costs him. One to the head, but it's not enough. ZywOo lives on with a bullet lodged between his eyes.
Is James really going to go for this? The money's not there across the board.
Drop the AWP. He's going to have a look. He knows that ZywOo's low, right? So he's going to get a little bit of a horn dog for it. Rifle to be scooped up. It's James after all. Just buying his time could be enough. Hello. And Masuuta's got him in the off angle. Crouches his way in, and a high impact round from Masuuta there. He cleaned up that mid-fight, a double when he needed it most, and the patience and proactivity to find Kicker with ZywOo's help.
It looked way too good. Buster got 2 kills there coming straight through the smoke. You thought that they were going to get all of them, but it just fell down like a house of cards, and that right now is the 4th round for Vitality here. Now, I think that... yeah, you're going to be kicking yourself if you kick it there, pardon the pun. But I think here, they must have spotted him because ZywOo turned his attention towards B apartments as well. So I think as the backpedal from Masuuta was coming through, he may have just spotted the dome there of James.
But those 2 rounds, Chad.
Yeah.
You know, that A round as well, which springs to mind the Ikinda flank. That's 2 rounds which I would have ascribed, you know, if we were flipping coins, it's VP's round. But the French just show that they can, through their individual prowess, convert.
And through their money management, have been able to get the AWP back in James' hand, even though he was at a very, very skimp amount of cash. The rifle's out for everybody else, and even utility there. So this right now could be a pivot round within this half.
I just got excited because I remembered map 2 is Vertigo.
I'm curious to see them going there. I thought maybe they'd want to go with an Inferno. I know that VP do like their Vertigo, but so do Vitality. There's James, smoked off. We'll have to reposition here. That molly being lined up one more time. But
this is someone else.
Yeah, it's going to be quicker onto B. It's just Buster right now to defend against
but
this.
That smoke might even incite them to go quicker as well. That's a deep smoke you might throw when you're solo B. Nade looks great. Not to be today. Is he calling for aid? No.
Coming in.
Here they come. Buster need a double now. They know where he is. He's got the damage. Apex again lucky to have gotten away with a cast on his arm. Can still pull the trigger, though. This is a big swing from Flit. Big swing, big find. He's taken 1 down. Apex caught the nade. A 2 versus 3 established.
Still a hard retake here.
Yeah, look at this slither gap. ZywOo's ready for war. And there's more relocation from Yakinda. Has he got the moves? No. He's doing it the old man way. And that leaves Flit sitting dark. A messy one, but that'll do. 5-5. The French with a bit of a pace change.
And going for retake. So VP showing a different face, but not paying off. And now this is a real problem for them. You take a look at the loss bonus scenario. We're looking at 2,900 into the next round of play. That means at best, we're going to see some Deagles, some CZs. Very, very light upgrades if they want to get a full buy into the next. This here looked great. The nade kill, they found a frag, and then one at a time. ZywOo just picks them apart. Masuuta and ZywOo left alive. Get it done. Back-to-back rounds. This is looking very good now for the French. They're going to actually be able to take the lead here as long as they don't fumble against another one of these. They've already lost to a light...
That's a good thing for you young'uns out there.
Yeah. Look like yourself. Play like yourself.
Exactly. And James a master of that.
6-5. It's been 4 on the trot right now for Vitality. They've really changed the flow of this game. Now, 3 of those rounds consecutively, only 2 players for Vitality survived. But we did see them get close. You recapped it before, the Yakinda flank round, the kick it flank round. And then they had that B-bomb site that just got decimated.
Morbid curiosity during replays, how's utility damage? Not just because I know that VP aren't the masters of that craft.
Yeah, it's a good point. It is just Buster right now, 94, but Mirage tends to be a little bit harder to land that util damage, especially with the way that people play through mid. You can avoid the HEs.
No Inferno.
Oh, this is a pace change.
And that is
just straight up.
Oh my lord, that's a huge gap. Look at this. They went for a 3-2 mid B. As Vitality are caught in circles around them. Now VP are on the back foot already. I say it as the leader is felled. Apex gone. Barrel spotted, but if you go too wide, Masuuta, you are a dead man. All posted up. Smoked off for now, and ZywOo's ready. Flash, smoke, it doesn't matter. James down. 4-on-4. Flit again with this aggression when they least expect it. Need a return. It's up to Masuuta. Can he really do it all? The answer is a resounding no. AWP retreat. and call it 6-6.
Yeah, that was a bit odd right there from Vitality. They got all the space immediately. I don't think they were expecting that. It looked like they were trying to isolate a fight against Yukinder in sight, who likes to float over there on his lonesome. But because of the setup, it actually paid off for them. So they're putting their left jiggle in, putting their right jiggle out. They're doing the hokey pokey, sticking it all about, and they're just stuck